Hi there, welcome back to the Recovery Journey channel. I'm Coach Chris and I'm here with you today to continue with a new episode about recovery from alcoholism and drug addiction. So let me say at the beginning of this episode that alcohol is a drug. It's on the chemical element table as a drug, just the same as any other substance, whether it's cocaine or methamphetamine or oxycodone or any substance that is made from a chemical is considered a mood-altering substance. Falls under the heading of substance of abuse or addiction. So I'm going to use the word alcohol a lot, and when I say alcohol, if alcohol is not your if it's not your problem, if alcohol is not the thing that you abuse, then just remember that whatever the substance is, the effects up here in your brain and in your life and in the orbit of people in your life is the same. The negative effects and consequences will turn out to be the same. So whether it's alcohol or some other substance, let's put all those together in one basket, okay? So what we talked about last time was the cycle of addiction. And once a person has reached the point where they've fallen into the cycle of addiction, which is they use and they regret that they used, or they use and then they have some negative consequences from using, relationship problems, employment problems, financial problems, physical problems, which we'll cover in another episode. There's a lot to talk about physically, in the physical sense, about addiction. But all of these things are happening with people who suffer from substance use disorder or addiction, alcoholism. So what we talked about was the cycle, and the cycle really runs the same each time. It's I woke up this morning and I remembered, or someone reminded me of what I did yesterday, and I feel blank. Okay, I feel ashamed. I feel like a bad person. I feel low self-esteem. I'm angry at myself. I'm angry at some of the people in my life for whatever happened because I was drinking and drugging. And the result of that thought process is I begin to hurt. I begin to hurt in my heart, and it's coming out of my brain. Okay, I'm feeling bad. I'm feeling emotionally down, depressed, anxious, whatever, any number of feelings we call. So what we know is that alcohol and drugs will soften those feelings, numb those feelings, those emotions, and give us temporary relief. So, as I said early on, alcoholics and addicts are not bad people. Alcoholism and addiction is not a moral issue. Okay? It's not a moral issue. Remember, we talked about how many people start just as a party person, and they work their way through from maybe doing just regular social drinking, and then it turns into binge drinking, and then it turns into drinking without control, and then it moves from that into real addiction and alcoholism, where it's it has developed in such a way that I don't feel natural. I don't feel like myself unless I have some substance in my bloodstream. So the cycle is, I wake up this morning and I remember what happened yesterday, and I remember the things that I did yesterday that oh my God, I wish I hadn't done them. I wish I hadn't spent the money. I wish I hadn't argued with my spouse. I wish I hadn't, wrecked my car or gotten arrested or stole some pills from my grandmother's medicine cabinet or whatever it might have been. And I feel bad about that today. And emotionally, I'm hurting. So the answer for me is, the quick and surefire way for me to stop feeling these emotions is for me to use a substance. Okay? So there the cycle begins again. I use, and remember, when I take one drink or two drinks or take one pill or snort one line or smoke one pipe of whatever the substance is, a few minutes later or some period of time later, I want it again, because I've kicked off that craving, that phenomenon of craving that happens once I put the drugs or alcohol into my body. So here I am, a brand new day, and I've made promises that I was going to stop using, but I'm feeling so bad about what I did that I need to use something to soften those feelings. So here is the cycle. Now, this cycle of addiction has a number of components. And the components of this cycle of addiction are known to me and known to people who have studied this disorder. But many times, in fact, most times, the average alcoholic and addict does not understand what all of the components are of this addiction. So I want to introduce you to a term that's called cognitive distortion. Okay? A cognitive distortion is basically flawed thinking. Okay? Flawed thinking is a cognitive distortion. So is it not flawed thinking when I think, when I'm feeling emotionally down, and I'm feeling ashamed, and I'm feeling low self-esteem, and I'm angry, restless, irritable, discontented at myself and maybe others, and I decide to use drugs and alcohol again because I don't like the way I'm feeling. Stop right there. Is that not a distorted thinking process? Okay? Now, what we know as addicts and alcoholics is that using again will stop the pain temporarily. But if we had the ability to think all the way through this next drug and this next high, we would understand that we're going to end up right back in this same place again tomorrow. But we have what's called a cognitive distortion. We can't think it through to the outcome that is sure to happen. The alcoholic and the addict sometimes does not even believe that they've drank or used again. They wake up the next day and they go, I can't believe I did that again. I said I wasn't going to. What's going on up here? Remember, the prefrontal cortex has these neurotransmitters that have been rewired that take me straight to the thought that drinking and using is the answer. Okay? That is in itself the basis of a cognitive distortion. I'm believing that the best outcome for me is to stop the pain right now. That is not good, solid thinking. You all can probably agree with that readily. So I want you to think about the term cognitive distortion. You probably got your phone somewhere close by. If you'll Google the two words cognitive distortion and read about it, you'll have a lot better understanding. You'll see that what I'm telling you is factual, and you'll understand maybe a little bit more about cognitive distortion. And I want to end on this note. A cognitive distortion is not necessarily permanent. If cognitive distortions were permanent, a permanent state of mind, then I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now. I wouldn't be clean and sober for 26 years and 3 months, whatever it's been. Okay, I wouldn't. No one would be able to recover from alcoholism and addiction if a cognitive distortion was permanent. Okay, the solution to cognitive distortion is, remember I talked about being rewired up here? The answer to the cognitive distortion as it relates to addiction is rewire it again. Get the prefrontal cortex rewired in a positive way. In other words, replace cognitive distortions with positive outcomes, positive thinking, healthy thinking, and that can be done, and it's not difficult. All it requires is a plan and the execution of the plan. So one of my favorite sayings is, a goal without a plan is just a wish. Okay? I can keep going through this cycle of addiction every day like I did for 18 years. Drinking and drugging every day and hoping tomorrow was going to be better, and then get up tomorrow and start the same cycle over again. No, it doesn't work until I take some action. So I'm going to leave you with this thought. Look up the word cognitive distortion. Think about the things that I've said in this video about the thinking process. And in the next video, we're going to talk a little bit deeper about some solutions to cognitive distortions. I'm not trying to be your counselor here. I'm just giving you facts. I'm a person who's helped a whole lot of people get clean and sober and stay clean and sober. So I'm telling you things that I know factually about addiction and alcoholism. So just to close this episode out, I want you to think about subscribing to my channel, because I'm going to continue producing these videos and posting them, and each one is going to build on the previous one. So I would not want you to miss an episode of the videos on this channel that I've created. So you're able to subscribe to this channel, and you're able to push a little button that kind of looks like a bell that's on the subscription page. And if you push that, I think it turns a color, that it sets you up to get a reminder or an alert each time I post a new video. And it's going to the videos are going to pick up where the previous one left off. So I want to thank you for giving me your attention. This is the longest video so far. We're approaching 15 minutes, and I know that's a long time to keep someone's attention. But I don't think you'd be here if you didn't have some serious concerns about what's going on in your life. So maybe you stayed with me to the end. I want to also point you in another direction as well. You can go to my website, which is addictionfreedomcoach.com. And I've posted some blogs there, some blog articles that will help you, and there's some resources there. that you can also begin to look through. And as I said in the very first video, my mission is to give help to as many people as I can. Recovery from substance abuse is attainable. And here's the key, because most of you who are watching this video have probably quit before. Sobriety is attainable and sustainable. That's the problem that many of us had, and I had it for years. I'd quit for a month or 6 weeks, and one time I quit for 13 months. And then I relapsed. I didn't have the tools that I needed to build a proper, sustainable recovery. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you again on the next video. This is the Recovery Journey channel, and I'm Coach Chris. Have a better day today.